you are making a comparison. You are suggesting this idea that broken windows are worse than broken spines. And what we know to be true is that the police are killing people everywhere. They're killing people here. 6 police officers were involved in the killing of Freddie Gray, and we're looking for justice there. And that's real, right? Like the violence that the police have been inflicting on communities of color has been sustained and deep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second hour of the Steve Malzberg Show. Glad you're with us at our brand new time. We start at 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific time. There are massive protests going on in the city of Baltimore, massive marches, but they are so far peaceful as they are taking place throughout the streets of Baltimore. There are also protests planned for about now or a little bit later in New York City and possibly other cities across the country. Let's hope that they remain peaceful. Right now we're joined by Minister Ben Kinchlow. He's former co-host of the 700 Club, columnist for WorldNet Daily, founder of Americans for Israel. Minister, I welcome you, sir. Good to talk to you.
Well, thank you very much. Pleasure to be back on the program. Delighted I could be on the program today.
Well, I appreciate it. Your take on the way this whole Baltimore thing has played out, from the mayor who admitted she was making room for those who want to destroy the city, to the president calling these people thugs, and some on the left, including a Baltimore City councilman, an African-American councilman, criticizing the president for daring to call them thugs, saying it's the new N-word. What's your take on all those sequence of events?
Well, I guess you have to take it back and give me an opportunity to point out something.
Sure.
That America is the land that gives you an opportunity to protest what you do not agree with. If you go all the way back to the Founding Fathers, the reason that we became a separate republic, not a democracy, but the reason we became a separate republic was because they said they did not want to be ruled over by someone who did not give them the opportunity to have freedom of speech and to exercise the right of their own decisions. Now, that's the thing we have to understand about America. That's the principle in which America is founded, on that principle. We have the right to disagree, and we have the right to demonstrate, and it has been proven over the years. As a matter of fact, the whole civil rights movement, both the Civil Rights Act of '64 and the Voting Rights Act of '65, all came as a result of people demonstrating for these rights. However, and this is critical, the difference was they were peaceful demonstrations that called attention to a specific remedial problem. Here's the problem, here's what needs to be done, fix it, and there was no rioting, no burning, no looting, and that sort of thing. And that is key, in my opinion, to what makes these demonstrations different from those demonstrations.
No, absolutely. And as we speak, the governor of Maryland is speaking and talking about how he's very encouraged by what's taken place over the last 24 hours. Minister, I think there's a large issue here. You know, people now are saying, well, it's because of the black men who are dead at the hands of cops. Oh, it's because of lack of education. It's because of poverty. It's because, you know, this. It's because of that. I'm sure there's some truth to all of that, but people have to understand that, you know, this is a city, and most major cities are run by Democrats and have been run by Democrats for decades, and these policies are obviously failures, especially as it relates to the black community in the inner cities around this country.
No question about that. There's a black mayor, a black Democratic city council, a black chief of police, a black majority population. All of these are keys, factors in Baltimore. The problem is we have not really faced up to a very simple truth. In America, you get an opportunity to choose what you want to do with your life. And unfortunately, what has happened is we have, you know, what is this old management principle? What gets rewarded gets done.
Yeah.
That's the problem we have in many cases in the inner cities. We reward the kind of behavior that produces the end result of what you saw in Baltimore very recently. So until we get to the point where we stop encouraging this sort of thing by rewarding it, then that's when we'll start to see some dramatic changes take place in America. See, this is why people come to America. Why do you think one of our major problems is people flooding into America? Can you answer that for me?
Well, they think that they're going to have opportunity here.
They do have opportunity here.
Yeah.
Now, you go to some of these other countries where they're coming from and tell me how bad it is in America. And, let me just point out something from a personal historical reference. And pardon me the personal reference here. But the truth of the matter is 90% or higher of the people in this country who are screaming racism and that sort of thing have no idea what they're talking about. When they talk about racism, I know what racism is from a personal encounter. I grew up in the segregated South. I drank from colored water fountains. Sneaked to drink, by the way, from white water fountains, and I made a startling discovery. Guess what?
The water was the same.
Exactly. The water tastes the same. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you saw a sign that said colored restroom, colored waiting room, blacks to the back of the bus, or worse yet, a segregated cemetery? When's the last time you saw any of that in America?
Rhetorically speaking, you are of that question, and the answer, of course, is I haven't seen one.
Because they don't exist any longer.
Right.
There's nothing in America you can't do simply because you're black. Or simply because you are Hispanic.
Now,
there aren't any rules.
Now, and I'm glad. Look, you don't ever apologize for giving us personal. No, for giving us a personal example. That's
okay.
That's why you're here. But let me ask you this: Rand Paul has talked about the breakdown of the family, the absence of the father, especially in the African American community, and and remember, we've all seen by now the mother who chased down her, pardon me, thug son and slapped him around on national television, and now she's a big celebrity. She's got 6 kids. She's got no husband. They have no father. She has no job. She is a poster child. God bless her. She wants to discipline her kids and keep them on the right path, but her family appears to be a poster child as an example for what the problem is.
And if you look at Freddie Gray's mother, according to
was a heroin addict.
Exactly. Who's illiterate. All right. So what you have here is a situation. Remember what I said earlier? What gets rewarded gets done.
Yep.
You know why this one single mother can have 6 children and no husband? Because
she gets paid per kid.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. See, I had the answer right on the water fountain. I had the answer right here. One more and I win the car.
You got it.
Listen, Minister, it's always great to talk to you, sir. Thank you so very much.
My privilege. Thank you for having me.
No, my privilege. Take care. Minister Ben Kinchlow, ladies and gentlemen. It's so true, and it's so refreshing to speak to someone like the minister. We have lots of guests who are African American and have his point of view, and we're privileged to do so. And we talk to people who have the other point of view as well. We had David Swerdlick of the Washington Post on yesterday, and others, and Roland Martin today coming up next, as a matter of fact. When someone is so on track, and it's such common sense. My goodness, when the media continues to tell the public that's watching, hey, Ferguson, Michael Brown, hey, Eric Gardner, New York, when those 2 cases were put before the legal authorities, the grand juries that came back and said, no, there's nothing here that was wrong, nothing indictable, nothing criminal based on our instructions. But yet people keep, on CNN and all over, keep citing Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, Michael Brown, Eric Gardner. What about them? What about them? Those cases were adjudicated. One of them grabbed the cop's gun and shot it, for crying out loud. So common sense is a rarity. And when I hear it, it makes me smile. All right, folks, by the way, Roland Martin's up next. We'll talk more about this with him. And we brought back our live, our viewer call-in segment here on the Steve Malzberg Show. If you want to participate, if you want to talk to me on the air, like you see happening here every day, reach out to us. Send us an email. You have to send an email to callsteve@newsmax.com. Call Steve at newsmax.com. Tell us how to reach you. We want to hear from you.